Hello again, Rams fans, and welcome back into the Charter Studios. I'm senior writer Nick Wagoner, joined by two of the brightest football minds at 101 ESPN and here in St. Louis, Rams play-by-play man Steve Savard and the coach Rick Venturi. Guys, we're a little over a week into training camp. We've got the first preseason game coming up on Sunday in Indianapolis. Let's take a little look at what's happened so far and what you expect to see here in the future. And let's start with the head coach, Jeff Fisher. A new era around here. What have you seen so far from his camp, and what do you expect to see going forward?
Well, first I learned by osmosis. Just by hanging close to him, I learned. I become more football intelligent and savvy. I just think it's so refreshing, and this isn't a shot at anybody. I respect the head coach and his way of doing things. But this is a different atmosphere out here. And I think that it just seems to me that Jeff Fisher is a guy, nothing's going to surprise him. He's seen everything. He doesn't get hung up on the little stuff. It's been a very easy camp for us to cover. Access has been great. He's in charge. And I think everybody out here is confident, from the players to you guys to secretarial, maintenance staff. Everybody's confident this thing's going in the right direction. I noticed a complete change in attitude out here.
Yeah, I've got to reiterate, I think the key word there is confident. You know, whenever I finish a practice or finish a conversation with Jeff and he walks away, I always feel like everything's okay. You know, it's an era that he carries, an aura that he carries. I like kind of a return to the old school coaching, not a lot of carbonation, not a lot of yelling, screaming, pretty much everything in the classroom. Terrific staff with him, you know, just what you would expect from a Jeff Fisher. I mean, you got a good blend of older guys, young, enthusiastic guys, but a lot of wisdom on that staff. Yeah, I've been very impressed, but I really like the poise, the methodical approach to it. And one thing about Fisher's teams that Steve and I know is that there's an accountability there with the players. It's not a lot of yelling and screaming, but there's accountability. When the lights come on, they'll play.
Anything with his practices, anything that stands out to you that maybe you haven't seen in the past, or things that you expected from him coming here?
Well, you know, things are so different now. I mean, it's different than 20, 25 years ago, training camp. But now the new collective bargaining agreement that was put in place last year even limits you further from contact. I think it's very organized. I think there's a tempo. I think there's definitely a tempo. I don't think we've seen the kind of tempo that Jeff Fisher has at practice since Mike Martz was here. Martz was a big tempo guy. He believed you practiced the way you played on Sunday. I get the same feeling from Jeff Fisher. The guys are impressed because there's not a lot of standing around. They get to their business and get off the field. And the word I would use is tempo. It's an up-tempo practice.
The other thing that I've noticed, and this has come from a couple conversations with him, is he's very cerebral. I was really impressed with the amount of time that he spent in that year away on nutrition, on values of rest, on values of repetitions, how to use it, how to adjust it. Very much aware of the travel that the Rams have to make from, you know, the Midwest out to the West and back to play those games in the division. I was really impressed with that. And you can kind of see his methodical use of players. And Fisher has never killed his team. That's a misnomer. His teams have always, as I said, played when the lights come on, when they're supposed to play.